Hi there, I'm Mike Brach. I'm excited to talk with you today about a signature move in Yang Style Tai Chi. There are so many different ways this thing is taught, and I want you to keep in mind, this is just how we're going to do it in this video. But this move is called parting the wild horse's mane, and I think you're going to love it. I know that there can be a lot to think about with Tai Chi techniques, and so in this video, I just want to break it down into little pieces, and then we'll put those together. You'll have a big, beautiful technique. Over time, you'll learn more and more and more, and you'll be able to string all that together into one great, beautiful form. So let's get started. And to start, let's just focus on the hands only. So for this technique, we're going to start out to get our legs active while we do this. You can do this in a chair, or you can do it standing. If you're doing it standing, hopefully you've got your feet about shoulder width apart. Hopefully you got a slight bend in the knees. And let's take your right hand for starters, and we'll just put it at the bottom, belly button height. Let's take your left hand, let's put it just below the chin. And so here, we call this holding the ball because it's like you've got an imaginary ball that you're holding between your hands. And so we'll just focus on one hand at a time because it's really not helpful to practice Tai Chi if you're going to get stressed out or overwhelmed. So we'll focus on just the bottom hand only for starters. And if we keep our back up straight, we've got our right hand on the bottom. Let's take our bottom hand and bring it out around our imaginary ball, and we'll stop with an arm nice and bent, rounded, and we're just below shoulder height. The hands in midline with the chest. So we can bring it back to belly button height, and we know that our bottom hand is going to come out around that imaginary ball. We can bring it back nice and slowly. We know that in Tai Chi, slower is better. So this allows us to really relax into our practice of these techniques. Let's take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we know the bottom hand goes out around our ball. We can breathe in and bring it back to belly button height. And then we can breathe out, bring that hand out around the ball. We'll bring it back. And so you might be thinking, I've got two hands. What am I supposed to do with this other hand, man? I get that the bottom hand goes out around the ball. Well, don't worry. Let's think about the top hand. Top hand's going to come from just below our chin, down to the side. We're going to park it at the waist. Park it at the waist right here next to your hip with a slight bend in your elbow. And you see the fingertips are pointed straight ahead, same direction as your hips. And you see the palms down to the floor. It's almost like you're resting this hand on a countertop or a tabletop. So let's bring it back up to the top position. We'll take a deep breath in. And we'll breathe out. We know the top hand goes down. Let's bring it back up and breathe in. Breathe out. Top hand goes down. In, and we'll bring it back up. Out, and we'll bring it back down. So we'll come back to holding the ball. So as you try to get better at these techniques and as you practice, try to use as little muscle force as possible. Some people will say, let your heart guide the movement. Other people will say, kind of like a marionette puppet, just pretend that there's a string attached to the wrist, like Pinocchio before he became a real boy. Well, he still had no strings, and that's a terrible analogy. But you get what I'm saying. So we've got right hand on the bottom, left hand on top. Let's put both hand movements together now. We can take a deep breath in, and as we breathe out, we know the bottom hand goes out, and we know the top hand goes down. We can come back to holding the ball. Take a deep breath in and breathe out. The bottom hand goes out, the top hand goes down. Come back, hold the ball. We can try to move them together. If it's too much for you, just go back to this two-part motion where the bottom hand goes out, the top hand goes down. But if that's already easy for you, let's try and do it together. So we'll take a deep breath in. We'll breathe out and slowly separate your hands. Bottom hand goes out, top hand goes down. Breathe in and gather the ball back up. Breathe out and separate your hands. Breathe in and gather. Breathe out and separate even more slowly. Breathe in and gather. Breathe out and separate. And slowly breathe in and gather. Good. So that's the hand movement for parting the wild horse's mane. You might say, well, wait a minute. In Tai Chi, we tend to alternate sides every now and then, don't we? Well, that's okay. We'll get into the other side. Then we'll alternate sides. We got this. So if we were just holding the ball, let's alternate sides. We'll just switch to the other side. We'll reach the top hand way up high. We'll reach the bottom hand way down low. We'll windmill the arms around. And now, oh my goodness, we're holding the ball on the other side. So now your left hand is on the bottom. How high? Belly button height. You got it. Your top hand is where? Just below the chin. All right. So just like earlier, the movements are the same, but somehow when you change sides, everything gets crazy. So let's do a few. We know the bottom hand goes out. Let's just bring it back and really try to get a feeling. Imagine you've got that ball here, and as you breathe out, try to feel your hand moving around that ball. Come back in, breathing in. Breathe out, and come out around the ball. Good. And now let's think about the top hand. Earlier, we knew the bottom hand went out. Earlier, what did we do with the top hand? Well, we put the top hand down to the side with a nice bend in the elbow. Fingertips are pointed straight ahead, and the palm is down towards the floor. So we can breathe in and bring that hand back up. Slower is better. We can breathe out, put that hand right back down to the side. Breathe in and come back up. Breathe out and lower down. Breathe in and bring it back up. So now we're holding the ball. Let's get a little bit more of a bend in your knees. We can really keep these legs active while we're working. And let's do a two-part motion. The bottom hand goes out. The top hand goes down. Then we'll bring that left hand right back to our belly button. And the right hand back to the top, just below our chin. Bottom hand goes out. Top hand goes down. Come back. Hold the ball. One more here. Bottom hand goes out. Top hand goes down. Slowly and gently. Come back. Hold the ball. And now let's get crazy. We can do this. Yes, we can do this. And people say all the time, I can't do martial arts. I'm not, imagine what word I'm thinking. I'm not coordinated. And I just want to scream sometimes and say, this is how you get coordinated. Practice. It's the key to anything, right? So let's do both hands at the same time, even if you have to go really slowly. Remember, that's better in Tai Chi. So the bottom hand goes out, the top hand goes down. Come back and gather up the ball. And now let's do one more, moving them together, and then we'll add the breath. So we'll separate our hands. Bottom hand goes out, top hand goes down, and then we'll gather the ball back up. And if you feel like this is too much, just keep going and go slower. Separate. Bottom hand goes out, top hand goes down, and gather, holding the ball. So when you think about the timing, each hand should reach its end destination at the same time. And that's what's beautiful about Tai Chi, and that's exactly how we build this coordination that you're worried about. I get it. Being coordinated really helps. And it's so helpful for our brain because our brain has to think about how to organize motor patterns, two different sides of the body at once. It's a great thing. And that's part of why Tai Chi is so helpful for treating so many different conditions. I'll try to shut up a little bit and let's add the breathing. So if our hands are supposed to get to their end destination, at the same time, our breath should really regulate that speed. So the general rule on this technique is we breathe out as we move away from the body. We breathe in as we move in close to the body. And our exhale should be a whole lot of little bits of air. Think of it as sipping the air rather than gulping it when you inhale, and think about exhaling just as slowly. So we'll take a deep breath in here through the nose. We're holding the ball, and let's breathe out as we separate our hands. Hopefully you reach the end of your lung capacity there. Breathe in all the way back to holding the ball. Breathe out and separate. Breathe in and gather. Out and separate. Breathe in and gather. One more. Breathe out and separate. Breathe in and gather. Good. Let's alternate sides now. It's going to feel tricky, but just like anything, doing it is the real gift, because the more you do it, the easier it's going to get, the more of the health benefits of Tai Chi you're going to get, and the better you're going to feel. So that's a good thing. So left hand on the bottom, right hand on top. We're holding the ball. All is right with the world. And all of a sudden, Tai Chi attack. Let's take a deep breath in. And as we breathe out, we'll separate our hands. The bottom hand goes out, the top hand goes down. Here's how we'll alternate sides. The front hand will flip over. We'll put that right under the chin. The other hand scoops under to the belly button. We'll separate and breathe out. Bottom hand goes out, top hand goes down. Flip over, scoop under, separate. Flip over, scoop under, separate. Flip over, scoop under, separate. And now we can try to gather up with the same type of speed and smoothness we've been using when we separate. So we'll gather at the same time, we'll separate at the same time. We'll gather at the same time, separate at the same time. Gather, breathing in, breathe out and separate, breathe in and gather, breathe out and separate, breathe in and gather. Good. That is how we part the wild horse's mane, at least the hand portion, and that's a stationary version. Hopefully that helps you to practice at home. Hopefully that gives you another opportunity to try and strengthen those patterns in your brain for how to move with this stuff. And in future videos, we'll go through the footwork for the stationary version, the moving version, and how to string it into the form. But for now, why not take this time, watch the video over again if you need to. If you need to mute it, I won't be offended. This is just a video version of me. But hopefully it gives you a chance to really get those movements down. And hopefully as you practice, you feel yourself kind of soften more and more to really smooth out those movements. And it just feels so good. I'm really excited for you to improve your postural awareness. I'm excited for you to get a good feeling for the movements and build your confidence. And if you have more questions about Tai Chi as an adjunct to physical therapy, or Tai Chi for movement disorders, or balance disorders, feel free to reach out. There's an email address down below in the description section of this video. You can always reach out to me at tribewellnessllc@gmail.com. Or if you feel like you want to contribute anything, there's a PayPal button below too. There's no pressure. My hope is that you'll just find these things useful. So be on the lookout for more videos, and until next time, keep practicing and building that coordination. It's gonna pay off. Take care.